From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the Kern County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy, and our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Peters?
Here.
Supervisor Parlier?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Couch?
Here.
Supervisor Perez?
Okay, we'll begin with a report on action taken in closed session.
Good afternoon. This morning, following the AM agenda, your board met in closed session on items 57 through 60. There were no reportable actions taken. Items 61 and 62 will be continued to a future board meeting date.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up is the consent agenda. All items listed with a CA or C above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. The CA represents the consent agenda for the Board of Supervisors, while the C represents the consent for Kern Sanitation Authority, Ford City Taftite Sanitation District, and or IHSS Public Authority. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If members of the audience wish to comment or make questions regarding an item on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. Members of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning an item before action is taken. Members of the public may also comment on any closed session items. The consent agenda includes item C1 as well, just C1 on page 2. For the Board of Supervisors, it's items 5 on page 3, items 6 through 7 on page 4. Sorry, this is kind of a lengthy item here. Items 9 through 11 on page 11, items 13 through 15 on page 12, 23 through 25, as well as item 27 on page 14. Oh, I missed 16 through 22. Oh, excuse me, 16 through 22 on page 13, thank you. Items 28 through 34 on page 15. And I also wanted to note that there's an amendment on item 27 to remove Disability Risk Manager and replace with Disability Management Coordinator. Withdraw item 33B and amend item 13 to withdraw 13A, 13D, and 13I. So now that that's clear as mud, does anybody want to speak on the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You received an addendum for case number 7. Staff is actually recommending a change to that recommendation to continue it until July 7th, 2026. July 14th, 2026.
Okay, well, so that will be continued as well to July 14th. Perfect. Any other items on the consent agenda that the public would like to share comment on? Please come down to the podium.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Harry Love, and I'm in District 1 and consent agenda on page 4. I would like to bring that up, number 7.
Yes, so that was the item that Mr. Murphy just brought up, and that actually was continued until our July 14th meeting.
All right.
So
Thank you.
if that answers that, okay, thanks. Any other members of the public that would like to comment on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, I will bring it back to the board for a motion to approve consent and adjourn as the Kern County Board of Supervisors and reconvene as the Kern Sanitation Authority.
Motion with the revisions as you stated, Chairman, and to reconvene accordingly.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, we're now sitting as the Kern Sanitation Authority, and we'll consider item C1. Would any members of the public like to make comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Okay, ma'am, is there any way you could come down to the microphone? Oh,
I think she's.
okay, oh, sorry, 1 second. Maybe we could bring a mic down to you.
I didn't receive this. It was sent to the wrong address. It was a label plastered on it. And the last time I came with my daughter, we corrected the address, and I still received a letter that I didn't get until May for the April 23rd meeting. And then this I didn't get till Friday, late afternoon. And I have no idea. It's all Greek to me.
Okay,
So I don't know what it means to my particular portion of the property. I know it's in Township 10.
okay, if, ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't know what item you're referring to.
Okay.
She's referring to a hearing notice that she got from planning.
Okay,
She needs to correct the address.
Because
understood.
I just understood this is something about rezoning it, and where in the heck did it? It's the D, the General Plan Amendment Number 7, Map 215, to the circulation.
Okay, Director Murphy, did you have some comment?
All I know is my property is in Section 1. I'm guessing that's Township 10 North.
Yes, ma'am. Let me see if we can get you some help real quick. Just one moment.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I do believe that a similar issue came up with a planning commission item for a recommendation. She has property next door. She was concerned that this project actually impacted and was being done on her property,
Okay.
where the answer was she received it as a neighboring property owner. If, she can come over and I'll have my staff kind of touch base with her and make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of what happened, what the actions are, and things along those lines. But I do remember something similar coming up at the planning commission where we did look at it after the meeting was done. She was an adjacent property owner, and, the proposed request did not impact her, and we kind of walked through. But now that we got a new hearing notice, I would imagine that something similar occurred as
Okay,
well.
understood. Well, ma'am, we'll have a member of the planning department work with you here, and if that doesn't resolve your issue, there'll be another opportunity in a little bit for public comment. You can come up and share thoughts then, or you're welcome to come by any of our offices and share your contact info, and we'll make sure that somebody gets in touch with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Any other members of the public that would like to comment on the consent agenda? Oh, I'm sorry. We're on item C1, Kern Sanitation Authority. Okay, not seeing any, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion to approve staff's recommendation and adjourn as Kern Sanitation Authority and reconvene as the Board of Supervisors.
So moved.
Second.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent.
Thank you. Next item is item number 2, and that is a request of Melody Sabaron Ibarra, Administrative Assistant, Kern Council of Governments, to address the board with a 4-year update to the Long Range Regional Transportation Plan. And I'm sorry if I got the name wrong.
That's all right. My name is Ben Raymond. I am a regional planner with Kern Council of Governments. Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, supervisors. Today I'm here to announce that our Regional Transportation Plan, or RTP, is now available for public review. I'll give a brief overview of what the RTP entails, and I have these packets that you should have each received that I'll go over also. First, just a little bit more about our agency, KernCog. KernCog Board of Directors includes 1 elected representative and an alternate from each of the 11 incorporated cities in Kern County, along with 2 county supervisors. Supervisor Couch and Supervisor Parlier serve on our board. And at KernCog, we work with our board members and your staff and the staff of our member agencies to develop a long-range plan of transportation projects and to make sure that we can fund transportation projects for our region. KernCog staff, we're always available to answer any questions you have about transportation projects or funding, so please don't hesitate to call us if you need anything. Like I said, a primary function of KernCog is to develop a long-range plan of projects and identify funding sources for those projects. Most state and federal transportation funding sources require that projects be included in this 20-plus long-term regional plan, 20-plus year long-term regional plan, or RTP. Projects that have been advanced and have funding identified are included in a short-term transportation improvement program. Projects must be in the long-term plan before they can be added to this short-term program of projects. KernCog is wrapping up a 4-year public outreach process that has garnered input from over 10,500 residents on how we should expend the $14 billion in transportation funds that are included in this long-term plan. Half of that input was collected from over 50 public workshops that we do throughout the community through booth events and activities. And the other half come from annual survey that we conduct. It's a statistically valid survey that we do via phone and text. And now the draft RTP document is available for public review, and all comments are due July 2nd, 2026. Now I'll go over your packets a little bit. There's a regional transportation plan transmittal memo, and that talks about the draft 2026 regional transportation plan and sustainable community strategy and the associated documents, which includes the draft environmental impact report for the plan, the short-range program of projects, which is the draft 2027 FTIP, and the draft conformity analysis, which demonstrates that the program of projects does not impact the air quality attainment. Just to highlight some of the major projects in the plan, it includes about $5 billion in funding for road maintenance over the next 20-plus years, and funding for some major projects such as widening improvements to State Route 99 north of Bakersfield and new truck climbing lanes on State Route 58 near State Route 223 where the National Cemetery is. This is the first phase of that, and it'll be heading up the grade about 3.5 miles from there. And then we also have a list of projects. So in this packet, I'll go over a couple more items. There's a flyer that shows all the presentations we've done on this so far to each of the cities in the region. This week, we'll be having a public hearing at the KernCog board meeting. And then we'll also be presenting at the Bakersfield City Council meeting. In addition to that flyer that has those presentations listed, there's an executive summary from the plan, and then a long list of projects. That's divided into each of the subregions of the county, and then if you see sections in green, the green heading, those sections are all our bike and ped projects. So there's a large list of those projects that we plan to fund with this plan. Again, comments are due by July 2nd on the regional transportation plan, the environmental document, the short-term 4-year transportation improvement program, and the associated federal air conformity analysis. Any written comments received by that date will be responded to in the documents. And if you have any idea for future projects that you don't see in the plan, let us know. And if we can't get them into the plan this cycle, we develop a fully revised plan every 4 years. So we're going to immediately start working on the next plan as soon as this one's adopted, and we can get future projects into that. Once again, please don't hesitate to contact our staff, and we'd be happy to try to answer any questions or take them back to staff to get an answer for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? I don't see any. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this item? If so, please come down to the podium.
I did have a few extra packets here, if any members of the public would like to grab one. And then there's also additional information on our website, kerncog.org. That's KERNCOG.org. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks again. Any public speakers, please come down to the podium.
Hello, good afternoon, board members, and thank you to Kern Council of Governments for this presentation. My name is Abby Power with Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. I would just like to comment on behalf of the communities of Fuller Acres, Shirley Lane, and residents of Athol Mutual Water Company. Residents would like to see complete street projects with sidewalks and safety features in these communities added to the RTP, and residents will be providing comments this Thursday to Kern COG. But we just wanted to ask the board if you could please support the comments that these residents are going to provide about the need for complete street projects and sidewalks specifically in their communities, and then also look ahead to financing mechanisms that could pay for these projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other members of the public like to provide comment on this item? Okay. Seeing none, we will go now to public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask questions for clarification, make referral to staff for factual information, or request that staff report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes, and we ask that you please state and spell your name before making your presentation. Would any members of the public like to speak on a matter not on this agenda? Okay, seeing none, our next item is number 4, board member announcements or reports. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, we will move now to item number 8, request of Discovery Solar Storage LLC, and that's with the Planning Department. Now I'll turn it over to Director Craig Murphy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm here today with Cindy Hoover, who is an assistant director within the department. So the project before you today is the Discovery Solar PV and Storage Project by Terrigen Power. The project includes development of a solar photovoltaic facility that would generate approximately 1,400 megawatts of renewable energy and 8 gigawatt hours of battery storage. This will be done on 473 parcels that total approximately 7,700 acres. So the project itself is located in the southeast Kern on the western edge of the Antelope Valley. It's approximately 6 miles southwest of Mojave, 9 miles southeast of Tehachapi, and then 8 miles northwest of Rosamond. So regional access to the site is generally provided by State Routes 58, 14, and 138. I'm sorry, if we could get the overhead on. And then local access is provided by 90th Street West, Bacchus Road, and then Tehachapi Willow Springs Road. So implementation of the project includes multiple zone changes, conditional use permits, zone variances, amendments to the circulation element of the Kern County General Plan. The project also includes vesting tentative parcel maps to merge and re-subdivide parcels within the project boundary to allow the developer more flexibility in panel placement and internal access. A complete listing of the requested entitlement and land use actions before your board can be found on pages 1 through 6 of your staff report, and a summary of the project characteristics of the proposed project are provided on page 23 through 38. If approved, on-site construction workforce for the project is expected to average around 470 workers per day, with up to 660 workers during peak construction periods over a 34-month construction cycle. And then once constructed, it is anticipated that the project would require 6 permanent full-time employees that would handle operations and maintenance activities. A final environmental impact report was prepared for this project in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act. That document has been provided to your board, posted on the Planning Department and the State Clearinghouse respective websites. A summary of the environmental review process can be found on pages 39 through 56 of your staff report. A mitigation monitoring and reporting program has been prepared for the proposed project. In total, staff is proposing 64 mitigation measures designed to reduce the project level and cumulative impacts that have been incorporated into the project. A copy of the required 15091 findings of fact, 15093 statements of overriding considerations, and the mitigation measure and reporting program can be found as exhibits A, B, and C of your staff report. So as with any project, there's always some key characteristics or measures that I would like to highlight for your board's consideration. Some of those have resulted in additional clarifications to mitigation measures that were proposed by staff subsequent to consideration of the project by the Planning Commission, and those were based on comments received from the Defenders of Wildlife and the California Native Plant Society. What I would like to start with, though, is the proposed high-speed rail alignment. So the high-speed rail alignment for the Bakersfield to Palmdale section does bisect portions of this project site. The project proponent is aware of this, and this information was disclosed within the environmental impact report. Planning staff has further discussed this project with the High-Speed Rail Authority directly, and the authority also provided an update to their submitted letter that we received last night, which we did provide to your board today. So while staff is aware of the possible conflict, this project does not propose any special accommodations for the ultimate development of the rail line at this time. As of today's hearing, the High-Speed Rail Authority has not engaged the project proponent in any discussions or had any consultation regarding the acquisition of land necessary for development of the high-speed rail. And in discussions with their staff, they indicated that those conversations could not yet occur at this time. Terrigen, our project applicant, has informed staff that they are fully aware of the High-Speed Rail Authority, that they may be issuing or initiating a discussion regarding the ultimate acquisition of that land in the future. In total, there are about 150 acres within the project boundaries that could be impacted by the adopted alignment. If and when that time comes, the applicant has informed staff that they are willing and able to engage in those discussions. So while it is clearly within your board's authority to require corresponding setbacks now as part of any site approval, those specific accommodations are not being proposed by staff at this time. And I wouldn't even be able to specifically tell you what the appropriate distance for those setbacks would be right now. I can tell you that the proposed project is located on private property. Any acquisition of land that would need to go through, or any acquisition of land would need to go through a typical acquisition process. That includes fair market value evaluation and assessment. And planning staff is concerned that any actions could hinder or contradict that acquisition process that would be required. And while the alignment has been adopted, there are no clear assurances that construction of the alignment will occur at all, given upcoming political changes at the governor level. However, in the most recent letter that we did receive yesterday from the authority, High-Speed Rail Authority is targeting a 2039 completion date for Phase 1, which would mean that right-of-way acquisition would start in 2029 for this section of the alignment. So the project before your board today represents real construction jobs, real investment dollars to the county, and significant dollars to the general fund over the life of the project, and significant capital by the project applicant. In addition to our land use considerations, the project proponent also has various requirements that they are targeting to meet identified power purchase agreements that are in place. Given those uncertainties as described, staff does not believe it's appropriate to reserve a dedication at this time. However, in conversations with the Rail Authority staff, they are requesting that the project applicant is willing to engage in good faith negotiations when that time comes. And this was again reiterated in the last sentence of the comment letter that they provided last night. I do believe that the project applicant is willing and will have those conversations if and when the time comes. Regarding Joshua trees. So in addition to the discussion regarding high-speed rail, I want to provide a little summary of Joshua tree preservation for this particular project. So again, the project consists of 7,700 acres of development, and this development land has known Joshua tree and Joshua tree woodlands on site. As part of the environmental review process, extensive mapping and accounting of every single Joshua tree has been accomplished. Through consultation with California Department of Fish and Wildlife, extensive mitigation measures have been identified to mitigate for the loss of those trees. Those specific measures include requirements to obtain Joshua tree incidental take permit and appropriate compensatory mitigation as identified by CDFW. All identified Joshua tree woodlands within the boundaries of the project site, which accounts for approximately 420 acres, will remain untouched and preserved through the establishment of conservation easements. Those specific preservation areas are shown with hash marks on this map. So if Ms. Hoover could kind of point to some of those conservation areas. And I would note, just based on comments that we received, I would like to clarify those conservation easements would be in perpetuity. So they would be permanent conservation easements. They would last long after the project had its life cycle. I would also note that mitigation includes relocation of approximately 10,000 Joshua trees. Those relocations would go to portions of the preserved on-site woodland areas. They would go to a strip of land that are located along the Tehachapi Willow Springs Road. And then they would also go to Don Ranch, which is part of a larger Joshua Tree, Swenson's Hawk, and other biological resource conservation project that has been initiated by Terrigen and is located within the LA County area. Overall, this project was considered by the Kern County Planning Commission at their April 23rd, 2026 hearing. The commission recommended approval to your board by a vote of 3-0, with Commissioners Brooks and Ashley absent. It was the determination of the commission that implementation of the project itself is consistent with the county-adopted energy policies and goals. The project is consistent and compatible with the surrounding land uses, which primarily consist of vacant land, existing solar and wind development, cement plant and mining operations, and approximately 8 scattered rural residential residences or residential structures. I would like to touch base regarding property taxes. If the solar tax exclusion on property taxes expires on January 1st, 2027, this project would contribute an estimated $758 million in property taxes over the next 35 years, with over $207 million being paid within the first 5 years of operations. If for some reason that exclusion does not occur, then we still have our cumulative impact charge on this particular project as mitigation measure 4.14-2. And if that were in place, this project would contribute approximately $4.27 million annually to the general fund over the life of this project. Staff is recommending approval, and the Planning Commission is recommending approval. Their recommendation is to certify the environmental impact report, adopt Section 15091 findings of fact, Section 15093 statements of overriding considerations, adopt mitigation monitoring and reporting program, enact ordinances and adopt resolutions approving the zone changes as requested, approve the conditional use permits subject to the recommended conditions, approve the zone variances subject to the recommended conditions, approve amendments to the circulation element of the Kern County General Plan as requested, approve vesting tentative parcel maps with the associated development variations subject to the recommended conditions, and approve a memorandum of understanding and agreement and authorize the chairman to sign. This completes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions, and I would note that the project applicant is in attendance and has a PowerPoint presentation to present to your board prior to public comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Murphy. Are there any questions or comments from the board before we go to the applicant? Not seeing any. We're going to get to public comment here shortly, sir, but we're not at that point just yet.
What was that again?
We'll get to public comment here shortly, but we're not there just yet.
Oh, okay, I didn't.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Okay, we'll invite the applicant up for the PowerPoint presentation.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name's Sam Sowers. I see you got my slide deck, Craig. My name's Sam Sowers, and I'm VP of Development at Terrigen, and represent the applicant, Discovery Solar PV and Storage. I'd like to thank the chair and the board for this time in consideration, as well as the Kern County planning staff, led by Craig, Cindy, Nicole, and Mark. Their thorough and cooperative efforts, as well as their can-do approach, is an asset to Kern County and remains one of the key reasons why Kern is a national leader in energy development. Craig, thank you for your concise and thorough presentation. There's really not a whole lot that I have to say after that. That was great. But we've been working on this project for the last several years and are very excited to talk to you about it today. I'd also like to thank those in attendance today who are here in support of the project. We really appreciate them joining us. Next slide, please. Before I talk so much about the project highlights, I'd like to provide a little bit of an intro as to who Terrigen is and what we've been doing in the county since 2009. Terragen is a pioneer clean energy independent power producer, an IPP. And we currently own nearly 2 gigawatts of solar and wind and over 1 gigawatt of BESS across 30 assets. Since 2009, Terragen has developed over 7 gigawatts of energy in storage and financed nearly $9.2 billion, the majority of which are projects located here in Kern County. We're also currently under construction on a 600 megawatt solar and a 200 megawatt BESS. We have 349 employees, most of which reside in California, nearly 200 operational employees at our field sites, and the majority of which operate here in Kern County. Next slide, please. Terragen is a long-standing leader in the California market. We've developed and built the largest wind farm in the nation, the Alta Wind Project in Kern County, built the largest hybrid solar and storage project in North America with the flagship Edward Sanborn project. And currently, Terragen's investments in Kern County specifically since 2009 exceed over $8 billion. Obviously, we're highly active in Kern County. We're also very active in our local charities and community activities. Some of those are represented here today as well. Recently, we helped sponsor the Tehachapi Mountain Rodeo, and nearly 30 Terragen volunteers participated in the annual Tehachapi Earth Day cleanup event. Next slide, please. These are some of the pictures just of the Sanborn, Edwards and Sanborn projects and our other Mojave projects. All these are operational. Obviously, we're very proud of the projects we've brought forth. Next slide, please. Actually, next slide. There you go. Thank you. As Craig indicated, the Discovery Solar Project is located approximately 6 miles southwest of Mojave. It straddles the LEDWP aqueduct and both north and south of the Tehachapi Willow Springs Road. The 7,700 acre site will include up to 1,400 megawatts of solar and up to 8,000 megawatts of storage. It will be built on lands that are underutilized with very little services that could support alternative opportunities. The project is further located about 4 miles south of the Wind Hub substation, which you can see in blue there, where the project will interconnect at 500 kV, utilizing some joint use transmission corridors that we've built from previous projects. Operations, as currently slated, if all goes well, should occur in late 2029. Next slide, please. Just some other noteworthy aspects of the project. The project will, at this scale, extend Kern County's renewable energy leadership position in the state, as well as helping the state achieve its goals. We'll employ local union labor through a union labor agreement. Terragen has already signed on to the 5-party labor agreement to the benefit of many in attendance today, and we look forward to continuing our long-standing relationship with the unions. As Craig indicated, we'll employ an average workforce of 470 folks and a peak of about 660 workers. And it's really valuable to understand that as we continue to expand our portfolio in the Mojave area, it supports the growing expansion of our operations staff in that area, we think there could be about 6 to 12 additional full-time folks added to that. Next slide, please. Craig touched on this, but it is worth mentioning that the project will become operation after the sunset of the California solar tax exclusion, and will be contributing an estimated $44 million in its first year of full operations. This amounts to upwards of $200 million in the first 5 years of operations and around $750, as Craig indicated, throughout the project's life. The chart I've kind of given on the screen here shows how the first $200 million will be distributed throughout the county services. It's further worth noting that the project is expected to be one of the single largest taxpayers in Kern County as compared to the 2025-26 tax period. It's also worth noting that we've really based, these are estimations, and we based them on our nearly 20 years of experience in Kern County, and view these as kind of middle of the road approximations. But with this in mind, we are generally indifferent as to what ultimate approach the assessments are as may be determined by the Kern County assessor. Finally, as indicated earlier, and in addition to tax benefits, Terrigen has long been an active member in the community of Mojave and the other eastern communities. Discovery Solar PV Storage will continue to support the expansion of our operations teams, both the numbers and beneficial impacts in the community in the many years to come. I'm certain Craig and his team can address any specific EIR questions, but myself and others from Terrigen team remain available for further discussion and any response to questions you may have. Thank you again for your time and consideration. We respectfully request your approval of the Discovery Solar PV Storage project based on staff's recommendations. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I'll bring it back to the board for questions or comments. And one of the questions I had initially for Director Murphy, I know you had mentioned cumulative impact charge. What was the figure on that again? Was that, I want to say you said 4.27 million a year?
Chairman Peters, that is correct. So the mitigation measure is currently written, is kind of an either or. It was written that if the tax exclusion has gone away, then the project applicant will pay the standard property taxes. If the tax exclusion does not go away in some form, then the existing mitigation measure would apply. So it's $690 per acre annually. And so it was estimated that based on this project, it would be about $4.27 million that would be paid on an annual basis.
Understood, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments from the board before we go to public comment?
Yeah, I'd just like to hear from the public first.
Sure. Okay, now we will go to the public. If you would like to make comment on this would be the time. Please come down to the podium.
Yes, I want to comment on the
Yes, sir, please.
solar panel project.
Sure, please come down to the podium.
I'm Neil Nielsen. I've got property out in that area. How much of the land that they're taking for the solar panel, they take big chunks at a time. How much is that taken by eminent domain, and how much do they actually buy?
We can get you a question to your, or excuse me, an answer to your questions when you get done. But if you have 2 minutes right now, if you would just make your comments, we can talk to staff after that.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, Director Murphy.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. So clearly the applicant is the one that entered into any of these negotiations, but I can say that none of it is by eminent domain. These are acquisitions that the project applicant has acquired through negotiations with other private property owners.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, esteemed County Board of Supervisors. My name is Hertz Ramirez, and I'm here on behalf of the Laborers International Union of North America, representing over 2,700 members across the county, and we are in full support of Terrigen's Discovery Solar PV project. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Claire Scotti. I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Tehachapi Chamber of Commerce. And I'm here on behalf of our Board of Directors and our community in full support of Terrigen's project. This project represents a meaningful and forward-looking investment in East Kern County's economy while advancing California's reliability and resilience goals by providing much-needed energy that we all know we're going to need with many advancing technologies. Terrigen has been a very strong community partner for all of East Kern, and we're excited to see them furthering their investment in our region. This project will be a significant property tax benefit, as we've already heard, generating over $207 million in property taxes just in the first 5 years. You know, I'm seeing a lot of solutions there. Terrigen is also carefully considering the environmental aspect of this project and has worked closely with the community to provide solutions. The project will be relocating Joshua trees, which we hold very dear to our hearts, and they have really put conserving native ecosystems and local wildlife into consideration. As the executive director, I've had the opportunity to witness firsthand the positive impact that Terrigen has had on our community and other surrounding communities. Not only does this company invest in projects that increase the quality of life in East Kern communities, they also truly listen to the wants and needs of their neighbors, and they respond in helpful and diverse ways. Terrigen has been a long and dedicated partner with the Tehachapi Chamber and many groups in Tehachapi. And everything from helping fund an energy bench in front of the chamber that helps educate passersby on Kern County's impact with its energy, to supporting all of our local events and making sure that our economy continues to thrive. So in conclusion, the Greater Tehachapi Chamber of Commerce, we are encouraging and hoping that the Board of Supervisors would approve this Discovery Solar and Storage project. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Holt. I represent the electricians here in Kern County, and on behalf of the 1,500 Kern County families, we stand in strong support of this project. I want to commend Director Murphy and his team on all the hard work here. And so here we meet again, right? Another good project for the county and for our members here. Terrigen has been a partner since the beginning. We've been working with them for 15 years now, and I want to confirm all of the numbers that they were throwing out at you. We've seen it firsthand. We're living it. Really look forward to doing more work with them here. I also serve as chair of our Kern County apprenticeship here, and so I want to speak a little bit about the training opportunities. I think one thing that is kind of underreported on all this is the ability to work with developers and owners and investors when new projects are coming in. I'm sure you guys, obviously you guys have the very same conversations that we do when they're concerned with manpower and everything else. And so because of relationships with Terrigen and the other developers out there on the renewables, we've been able to triple the size of our apprenticeship. Those are not small numbers, and so it's really easy for us to be able to point to this kind of pipeline that we have to build what's next, right? The compressed air facilities, the casinos, the steel plants, everything, all the other cool stuff that's coming. So on behalf, again, of the 1,500 members of IBEW, we ask that you please approve this project.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. My name is Alyssa Reed, and I'm with the Kern and Yamamoto Counties Building and Construction Trades Council. And I just want to ask for your support for this project. We stand in support of this project for over 6,000 members that are represented by our council. And the prime reason behind that is, as Brian started talking about, the training opportunity and the apprenticeship programs. All of our trades have apprenticeship programs that benefit from projects like this, as well as our apprenticeship readiness program, providing opportunities for our local workforce and members of our own community to enter into the trades and start a career path that provides them a long career and a good job. And so for that reason, we ask for your support of this project so that we can further the work in providing opportunities for our community members in these good jobs. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman Peters and fellow supervisors. I'm Richard Chapman, President and CEO of the Kern Economic Development Corporation, and our mission is to cultivate and promote Kern County's boundless opportunities for business. We are recognized as the energy capital of not just California, but the West, and Terrigen has an amazing part why we've been able to get these accolades, not just obviously solar, battery storage, but wind, and so they've invested probably over $10 billion in Kern County, and so that capital investment is really important, but we also look at wages, right, and obviously this will be over a several-year period, hundreds of jobs, and tax revenue. And the beauty with especially the Edward Sanborn project before, as well as wind, is a significant property tax that goes to Kern County, schools, roads, et cetera, public services. And so with this project as well, you'll see that a lot of that money stays in Kern County, not just with the wages, but also direct, induced, and indirect jobs, but that tax revenue is so important. So we're very excited about this project. I know they have several more in the pipeline. And as we know, we welcome investment in Kern County for good jobs, tax revenue, and upward mobility opportunities for all our residents. So thank you, appreciate your time.
Good afternoon. Kenan Nieves, Local 155 organizer out of Fresno, California. We're here in support of the project. I just want to piggyback off what my brother from the electrician said, that with the apprenticeship programs and all the upcoming work, we're already pre-planning ahead. We just had 966 applicants come to our local within the last 6 months to apply for all the upcoming work. And we just onboarded 120 new apprentices in preparation for this upcoming work. So these jobs that are coming to the area will definitely help out these families and be able to provide and buy homes and give back to the community here in the local. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that would like to provide comment? Okay, not seeing any. I will bring it back to the board. So I actually do have some concerns I wanted to bring up, and my comments, they're not directed toward Terrigen certainly, and not even necessarily toward renewable energy, but more towards the state of California and legislation that we've seen, like Senate Bill 710 and 1329, that continue to diminish the benefits that we get as a county. The county has done more than any other county in California to help the state achieve its energy goals. For decades, we've powered California through oil and gas production. When Sacramento decided the future was renewable energy, Kern County stepped up once again. And today we're the leading producer of solar energy, wind energy, and battery storage in the state, producing more than 70% of the state's oil and more than 60% of the renewable energy. We are the backbone of California's energy production. But the question isn't whether Kern County has done its part for California, but whether California is willing to do its part for Kern County. Over the last decade, state policies have steadily undermined many of the industries that built our communities. Regulatory actions have reduced oil production. Water policies have forced the fallowing of some of the world's most productive farmland. And new mandates continue to shift responsibilities and increasing costs onto local governments. Now we're increasingly being asked to host renewable energy projects at a large scale. Again, I'm not opposed to renewable energy, but I do believe we have a responsibility to ask the question, what are Kern County residents receiving in return? This project will occupy thousands of acres. It will require county oversight, planning resources, county roads, public safety services, and county infrastructure, while state policies continue to limit property tax benefits associated with renewable energy development. That creates a troubling dynamic. California continues to talk to Kern County about a just transition, but the reality is the rest of the state gets to transition to green energy while Kern County just gets to host the projects. There is nothing just in communities providing land, infrastructure, workforce, and public services being left by the state with fewer economic benefits to serve those communities. Property taxes fund sheriff's deputies, firefighters, roads, libraries, public health programs, and schools. Every time Sacramento creates or extends special tax treatment for industries that are mature and thriving, it limits the ability of the local government to provide these services. And that's where I take issue. If California is wanting to invest in renewable energy as the future, then they need to allow these projects to stand on their own merits, to contribute fairly to the communities that are hosting them, and to help replace the economic activity and tax revenues being lost elsewhere. Instead, we're increasingly finding ourselves in a position where the state asks Kern County to sacrifice our oil, gas, and ag production, to dedicate more land to renewable developments, and assume more costs and responsibilities while receiving less fiscal benefit in return. This is not a sustainable model. Kern County residents deserve more than being treated as a location where LA and Bay Area legislators place the infrastructure they want, but not bad enough to put in their own backyards. We deserve policies that recognize the enormous contribution that this county makes to the state's energy reliability and environmental goals. So as we evaluate this project today, I believe that we should be asking not whether this only helps California meet its objectives, but whether it helps Kern County meet ours. Does it strengthen our tax base, support schools, support infrastructure, enhance public safety, or create long-term economic opportunities? These are the questions that many of our constituents expect us to ask, and I believe those questions should be guiding our decision-making. So those are the comments that I wanted to make, and I will open it back up to the rest of the supervisors. I see Supervisor Parley has buzzed in.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I've had an opportunity to go out with Terrigen and tour their facilities, and I got to tell you, they're top notch. And one thing that I really learned through this process, compared to some other companies that have put solar fields in, that Terrigen really takes care of the environment to try and mitigate any risk, the Joshua trees. And what they are doing is really kind of unique. They're using giant industrial spades to harvest and transplant these Joshua trees into protected areas. And I believe they have something that's pretty remarkable. It's like a 99% rate of transference as far as live trees remaining. Also, we have a host of organizations. In fact, could I just have everybody stand up if you're in support of this project, please? Thank you so much. Thank you. From labor to Greater Chambers of Commerce, I was actually at the meeting in Tehachapi for the Economic Development Council and I have a letter right here too in support, and they were highly supportive when I was there. Terrigen has also been an active partner with the county. They've provided fairly recently drones and other equipment to the Sheriff's Department to help in that endeavor for public safety. So I am in support of this project, and I make a motion on this to approve. But to get to the chairman's point, I do agree with his points and the promises made for the sunsetting of the solar tax exclusion and potential legislation that is either going to kick that down the road or get rid of it altogether, I think is a big hit, or could be a big hit to this county. And I think that is a broader discussion. And I'd like to ask staff to come back with a kind of an overall briefing. And part of that, I'd like current legislation that Sacramento is looking at regarding the solar tax exclusions. If for some reason the board decided not to approve a solar project, if the CEC has the ability to override our abilities and our decision-making process here at a local level, and just kind of an overview of the potential future with that exclusion not sunsetting, and our abilities, again, to make our decisions at a local level. But again, my motion is for approval.
Thank you for those comments, Supervisor Parley, and yeah, I agree. I think that would be a valuable conversation to have. And again, this is it's not the fault of this project, but it's a constant thing that we're seeing from the state of California at the cumulative impact charge level that was discussed. This would represent $149 million over 35 years, which is 80% less than the $750 million over 35 years. If the solar tax exclusion sunsets, which I don't have any reason to believe it will. They've extended it already. New legislation like Senate Bill 1329 was just passed in the Senate. So I think it's continual assault from the state on our counties who they keep pushing additional costs onto. So I think we need to have that discussion and seriously weigh how we're going to continue to partner with the state of California moving forward on projects like this if they are going to keep penalizing us. But that being said, we have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. 3 ayes, 1 absent, 1 no. Supervisor Peters.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that takes us now to item number 12, which is a public hearing on the proposed establishment of assessments within County Service Area number 87 for streetlight service charges for fiscal year 2026-2027. And we'll give everybody a moment to clear the chambers before we start that. Okay, whenever they're ready, I'll turn it over to our Public Works Department.
Chairman Peters, members of the board, Joshua Champlin, your Public Works Director. I'm joined today by Adrian Nava, Assistant Director of Public Works, who will be presenting this item to you today.
Good afternoon, members of the board. The item before you today is a proposed rate increase, it's a proposed assessment for County Service Area number 87, Fuller Acres, for streetlight services. I'll cover the background, the Prop 218 process, and the need for the assessment. Fuller Acres is an unincorporated community in Lamont area consisting of 172 parcels. The area currently has no streetlights, and they're not paying for any streetlight assessments. Because of that, property owners have requested streetlight services to the county through a community petition. Public Works initiated a Prop 218 process to establish new assessments that would fund the operation, maintenance, and administration of the streetlight system. If the property owners approve the new assessment, a project with PG&E will be initiated to install approximately 17 streetlights within the community. If the assessment is not approved, the streetlights will not be installed. The proposed new assessment is being conducted in accordance with Prop 218 requirements, which require a ballot process for affected property owners. Public Works mailed 172 ballots more than 45 days prior to today's hearing. Ballots included information of the proposed assessment, voting instructions, and return options. Approval requires a simple majority of submitted ballots to be marked yes. In addition to the mailing, staff conducted a neighborhood outreach and public information meeting to answer questions and explain the new assessment. This map shows the boundaries of CSA 87, Fuller Acres, which is east of Weech Patch Highway and north of East Panama Lane in Lamont. The area shows 172 parcels, and all of which are located in District 4. Per the engineer's report, the proposed assessment is $27 per parcel per year, which would generate approximately $4,600 in revenue annually. The revenue from the assessment will fund electricity cost, county administration, contingency reserve, and ongoing operation of the streetlights within the community. That concludes my presentation. At this time, it would be appropriate to open the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. This is the time and place for the public hearing to tabulate ballots considering an increase in the assessment for CSA number 87 for fiscal year 2026-2027. Before I open the hearing for public comment, are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, seeing none, I will now open the public hearing and ask if there are any public comments. If anyone in the audience has any ballots, now is the time to deliver them to the clerk of the board.
Hello, my name is Richard David. I was actually just here for a political science class, but I actually happen to own some rental property in Fuller Acres, and I had some concerns. I did not receive this notice that you were discussing that was mailed out to all the residents, and I guess I had a question as to, when this project would take place if it was approved, just stuff like that.
Okay, understood, thank you. We'll refer that to our Public Works Department.
Yeah, so if the assessment is approved, we will begin the process with PG&E to do the installation. And PG&E has advised that it will take around 4 to 6 months for the streetlights to be operational.
Just to make it clear, I would vote for this. I actually approve that. I think it would be nice. I just, as one of the owners, I never actually received any of these notices, so I have no clue what's going on here.
Okay, interesting, thank you.
Yes.
Director Champlin?
I would like, if he could stick around until the end of this, I'd like to speak with that member of the public there so we can kind of understand what happened there and why you didn't receive that hearing notice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lorta. My question's for some of the information presented in the PowerPoint. There's 3 different water systems out there. There's At Home Mutual, there's Fuller Acres, and I believe there's another one that's not coming to the top of my mind. I'm from At Home Mutual. I'm concerned if this is something that's going to affect one of the parcels in our area. We're smaller. I never received the ballot for a yes or no, and my confusion is it a street traffic signal or is it like a light for the streets? It's my first time hearing it, and I'm opposed to it, unfortunately, but that's my question. Is it that we're having like a water war out there right now between our water? We're having several meetings that it's not consistent, so it's new information for me. Caltrans is out there right now doing a lot of street work. We've received like papers that on my specific street, there's gonna be some changes. There's a lot of things happening, so as far as if it's a yes or no, is it just Fuller Acres or is it all 3 water areas? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The notices that were sent out fall within the boundary on this map right here, and this is what we are considering Fuller Acres area. So if your parcel is in this area, this is the assessment district, and this is the district that's going to be served. These are going to be street lights. We've heard from this community time and again that this is an area that is seeking to have paved streets, sidewalks, sewer service, a lot of different services, and so this is just the first service that we're seeking to put into this neighborhood as we kind of ramp up and look into other services. So this is strictly going to be street lighting, no traffic signals in this assessment, but this is the map where we sent out the notices.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of the public?
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Abby Power with Leadership Council. So I just wanted to say I know many residents along with Leadership Council, we are hoping that this passes and are very excited about the possibility of streetlights. And I just wanted to thank the board because and Public Works and everyone in the county who has worked on this for all the time that they spent coordinating this project and also sharing information with residents. Public Works added an additional evening informational meeting and created brochures in English and Spanish so that residents had information. And this commitment also, I want to back up. Thank you to the county for also covering the cost of the construction of the lights because this commitment significantly changed the affordability of the project and also contributed to the majority of residents voting in favor. And lastly, thank you to all the residents of Fuller Acres for your dedication over 5 years to bring the project to the community. And we do appreciate the time that you invested going door to door and collecting signatures, attending meetings and sharing the information. And we're just happy to see this partnership between the county and Fuller Acres to continue furthering investments in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public? Okay.
I just have a question regarding to the map. If you guys could point out Wheat Patch Highway and like where Fuller Acres is at, and I'm on Dublin, if that's somewhere on there.
It doesn't appear that Dublin is one of the streets. So we have on the west is Weed Patch, the south is East Panama, Some of the streets in there, Farmers Lane, Fuller Drive. Yeah, north of Panama Lane. So that's probably why, that's why you didn't receive a notice, is because this is not your area.
I think we just got the flyer.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, any other members of the public that would like to make comment? Okay, Madam Clerk, have you received any ballots that need to be considered?
I have not.
Okay, well, seeing as there's no further public comment, we'll now close the public hearing and return to staff.
Out of 172 ballots mailed out, the department received a total of 25 ballots, 19 in favor and 6 were opposed. A majority of the ballots were returned in favor of the increase. Therefore, it is staff's recommendation that your board confirm the majority of the ballots submitted are in favor of the new assessment with an adjustment formula, waive the reading, and enact an ordinance imposing the proposed assessment.
Okay, thank you. I'll bring it back to the board for any final questions, comments, or a motion on staff's recommendation.
Thank you to the people that are here today. Thank you to staff, and I move your recommendation.
Second.
The motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, thank you. We'll go now to item number 26, and that is a public hearing pursuant to the requirements of Assembly Bill 2561 to report the status of job vacancies, recruitments, and retention efforts for fiscal year 25-26.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. I'm Tracy Eldridge, the Chief Human Resources Officer. Assembly Bill number 2561 requires Myers-Millis-Brown Act agencies to report the status of job vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts during the public hearing before the governing board at least once per fiscal year. Vacancies may be reported by bargaining unit, and if the vacancy rate meets or exceeds 20% of the total number of authorized full-time positions, the public agency shall provide the following information during the public hearing: the total number of job vacancies within the bargaining unit, the total number of applicants for the vacant positions within the bargaining unit, the average number of days to complete the hiring process from when the position is posted, and opportunities to improve compensation and other working conditions. The Human Resources Division reports the following vacancy information by association and bargaining unit as of pay period 2026-10, May 16th through May 29th, 2026. Total allocated permanent positions for Service Employees International Union Local 521, SEIU, are 5,946, with total vacancies at 669, resulting in a total percentage vacancy report for SEIU total of 11.25%. The only SEIU assigned budget unit with a vacancy rate above the AB 256 guideline of 20% is Bargaining Unit J, represented by SEIU, and it is the Criminal Justice Unit, which has a vacancy rate of 100%. This bargaining unit is unique, containing a single classification, Sheriff Aircraft Pilot. When vacant, as presently in this case, the bargaining unit reflects 100% vacancy. The Human Resources Division is currently reviewing all pilot classifications and will recommend changes, including any salary adjustments to assist with future recruiting efforts. Vacancies in the Kern County Firefighters Union, the Civilian Employee Bargaining Unit 0, are within classifications created last year, and the department will continue to hire on an as-needed basis, so rotationally. Kern County Prosecutors Association has held a vacancy rate around 30% over the last 3 years. The Human Resources Division and the District Attorney have worked together to increase the applicant pool and to lower the vacancy rate. Our efforts have included offering a hiring bonus, creating a statewide campaign to reach candidates that have recently passed the bar exam, and sending targeted information via social media and mail to higher educational institutions, professors, and recent criminal justice graduates. Additionally, the district attorney hires potential attorneys during their last year of study for the law clerk position, which serves as a feeder position into the district attorney's applicant pool. On a weekly basis, human resources staff review the applicant pool and refer on a flow basis those applicants that have attained their bar license to the department. Kern County Human Resources manages 5 specific areas: payroll, diversity, equity, and inclusion, health benefits, labor relations, and for this hearing, recruitment. Over the last fiscal year, we have processed nearly 44,000 applications and assisted with hiring nearly 1,500 new employees. I'd like to introduce Deputy Chief Human Resources Officer Brenda Guerra to review recruitment efforts for the safety classification.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, excuse us 1 second. There you go.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. I will be presenting on recruitment efforts for hard-to-fill positions within the county's safety departments. To expand outreach efforts, the Public Safety Recruitment Team attends hiring events both locally and statewide to generate interest in job opportunities with Kern. In addition to the Public Safety Team hosting sworn events in outlying areas that offer same-day application and testing opportunities, the team works in collaboration with Kern County Sheriff's Office to coordinate professional support for sworn hearing hiring events, which are scheduled during non-traditional business hours to reduce barriers for applicants who may have work, travel, or scheduling limitations. We work closely with the public safety departments to connect applicants directly with sworn staff, along with our HR analysts. This allows candidates to engage with staff and obtain insight into the application and testing process and duties of the position. I would like to briefly note the results of these efforts, which include a 65% increase in applicants for deputy sheriff trainee and a 47% increase in applicants for detentions trainee from 2022 through 2025. This growth has contributed to a reduction in vacancies for sworn positions within the sheriff's office from 38% to 19%. Additional recruitment efforts include marketing and social media outreach. I'd like to highlight a social media post created to announce our annual Career Expo, which featured human resources staff and staff from probation, including the Chief Probation Officer. This recruitment-focused social media post generated over 74,000 views across multiple platforms where the video was shared, contributing to the turnout for this expo. The HR team leverages LinkedIn Recruiter to engage directly with candidates. Most recently, successful bar exam examinees, pending issuance of their license, were contacted directly through LinkedIn to promote deputy district attorney job opportunities. Given the limited and highly sought-after talent pool, candidates who apply are referred to the district attorney's office on average within 2 days as a mechanism to engage applicants as quickly as possible. The county established a recruitment bonus to enhance the county's ability to attract and retain qualified applicants by providing additional incentives to accept a position with Kern.
Now I'd like to introduce Deputy Chief Human Resources Officer Kimberlyn Stillwell to review recruitment effort strategies for the non-safety classifications.
Good afternoon, Chairman Peters and Supervisors. I'm happy to present information on all the efforts that your Kern County Human Resources team is engaged in to provide Kern County as a top, or to present Kern County as a top employer. In addition to the safety events mentioned by my colleague Brenda, our team has attended 33 additional outreach events. This includes events such as the Kern County Career and STEM Expo at the CTech campus, all countywide job fests, and even our Kern County Human Resources Career Expo. At that event, which we conducted, we had over 20 county divisions and departments present to recruit, and we greeted almost 600 attendees that day. In addition to our recruitment efforts, we do understand that it's important to present Kern County and grow interest in employment with the county. So we do also participate in events through BC, such as mock interviews and an event called Entree to Employment, where we get a unique opportunity to interact with future applicants in a mentorship role and prepare them for interactions in professional settings. We strengthen our partnerships with the local college, CSUB, along with BC, by working directly with their faculty to access their classrooms, talking with their students about civil service recruitment and the opportunities that Kern County affords them in employment. We also find a special place for our Kern County veterans, and this year we've presented 14 individual presentations working directly with veterans through EDD and other agencies to introduce them and acclimate them to the county hiring and recruitment process, as well as matching them with possible recruitments for their skill set and education. We do post our on education and professional job boards. This includes Handshake, JobSpeaker, CalJobs, Indeed, and LinkedIn. With reference to LinkedIn, we are also engaged on the LinkedIn Recruiter platform. Each week, we promote 15 jobs that are spotlighted on LinkedIn Recruiter to receive additional exposure, and it allows us to reach out directly to possible candidates. Our job apply rate through LinkedIn Recruiter this year is up 13% from last year, and our team, as compared with our peers, has sent 70% more direct emails to possible candidates. As Brenda mentioned, we utilize through Kern County Human Resources and Kern County many social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Our total followers on our Kern County LinkedIn page is up 16% from last year, and our views of our jobs and life page is up 22% from last year. Finally, I'd like to talk about eligible lists. Those are the mechanism by which departments fill vacancies. And so that we can quickly fill vacancies, our team ensures that we have eligible lists ready for classifications that have a high turnover rate. And with reference to a high turnover rate, a lot of that is due to promotions up of our classification ladders. So we keep eligible lists ready for many of our clerical, fiscal, and entry-level positions. I'd just like to close by saying that all of these accomplishments would not be possible without the help of our analysts and our specialists in Kern County Human Resources Department, and we would like to thank them for their efforts throughout the year.
That concludes HR's report. It is now recommended that your board open the public hearing and receive public comment regarding AB 2561 vacancy report, close the public hearing, and receive and file the Kern County AB 2561 vacancy report for pay period including May 29th, 2026. And of course, we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Before we open the public hearing, are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak on this item?
Before we begin, Chairman Peters, I'm requesting an additional 2 minutes, as it's an agenda item and not a public presentation.
I'm sorry, you're requesting an additional 2 minutes, you said?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry.
Well, we do 2 minutes for everybody on items. So, I mean, there's opportunities to submit comments before meetings, after meetings, and everybody has the same 2-minute time limit at the board meetings.
Before agenda items had unlimited time, so that's why I was requesting it.
Okay.
So I did my speech a little bit longer than.
No problem. Yeah, if you'd like to submit copies of it, we can make sure that those get shared. Okay, sure.
Good afternoon, my name is Karen Bizard, and I'm a 20-year county employee and a constituent of District 3. Assembly Bill 2561 was backed by labor organizations with the intention that labor organizations would meet with government agencies to address recruitment and retention issues within a classification when vacancy rates meet or exceed 20%. I do not support this bill because 20% is a low threshold, which would mean government agencies and labor organizations would be meeting constantly to address this issue. I also knew government agencies would delete vacant positions to try not to meet or exceed the 20% threshold. Last year, the county deleted hundreds of vacant SEIU 521 represented positions under the guise of a more accurate presentation of the county budget. The issues I have with the county's action, it creates a false narrative of departments being adequately staffed. Case in point, I was part of a legal secretary team of 4. The last 3 years, the team has gone from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. The team now has 2 legal secretaries. Doing more with less is not feasible as the workload has increased as the county's population grows. It creates a false narrative to the public. The public expects and should receive quality, on-time services from all departments. However, no matter how hard employees work, some things will fall through the cracks when there's not adequate staffing. State and federal funding will be withheld if guidelines are not met, and departments can be fined for not meeting those guidelines. Since those deleted positions are no longer funded, where did the money go for those positions? As for the vacancy report, it again creates a false narrative. While I understand it was presented by bargaining unit, several bargaining units include different classifications. For example, bargaining unit 4 includes approximately 45 different job classifications. The county shows a vacancy rate of 12.93% vacancy rate. However, maybe one classification is fully staffed, while another one is struggling to fill vacant positions. And then I direct you to the rest of my statement.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got those copies of it.
Thank
We'll make sure to consider them. Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that would like to share comment?
Hello. We also have some copies. Hello, Board and Chair. My name is Patricia Gomez. I am currently an admin coordinator, and I've worked for the county for more than 10 years. I am a member of SEIU Local 521, and I'm an active in our Fix Kern movement. This is a staffing crisis in Kern County, yet the Board of Supervisors continues to resist transparency by defunding the independently elected auditor's office, failing to conduct routine compliance audits required by state law, and by allowing county administrators to discontinue vacancy and turnover reporting in the county's mid-year status report. Taxpayers deserve accountability and workers deserve answers. Taxpayers should be concerned that the Board of Supervisors had reduced staffing in the auditor's office to the point that county auditors can no longer complete timely compliance audits. These audits, required by county and state law, are supposed to measure whether taxpayers are receiving the road, child welfare, and mental health services they need and deserve in accordance with the state and federal law. When those reports are delayed, the public is left in the dark. There is less transparency, less accountability, and fewer answers about how taxpayer dollars are being spent. Over 5,000 of our employees are united in our position that no matter how you spin it, we cannot retain, recruit, or fill critical positions in Kern County with the working conditions as they are. You may view an 11.25% vacancy rate among SEIU represented positions as acceptable, but frontline workers and the taxpayers we serve experience the effects every day. Their figure may actually underestimate the county staffing crisis, as department heads have been directed to remove hard-to-fill vacancy positions from their budgets instead of addressing the underlying recruitment and retention challenges. When nearly 50% of employees in field positions have been with the county for less than a year, the combined impact of vacancies, in addition to the turnover, is a formula that leaves departmental services stretched thin. And thinning services means that on average, more than a quarter of the budgeted positions are either vacant or filled by someone who in many cases is still learning about their job duties. We're caring for patients in mental or substance abuse crisis, helping families reunite their difficult situations, or responding to emergencies on the roads. Workers across Kern County are
Ma'am.
delivering the same message. We need more staff.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Rosario Romero. I'm a DHS employee for 24 years now. Let's get into this. So many crises can be addressed, if not avoided, if the Board of Supervisors decide to act. If this board is serious about accountability and quality public services, addressing chronic understaffing also must be a priority. As far as the county vacancy report published today, it doesn't tell the full picture, and we wish we could dive deeper into the facts and the trends. Still, unfortunately, the county labor relations team has refused to provide the detailed vacancy and staffing data we've been requesting since February of this year. Taxpayers and the employees who keep families safe, healthy, and prosperous deserve transparency and facts about how their local government is performing on vacancy, staffing, and attrition data. Workers have the right to know how our upper management is operating on our collective mission to serve the public. In one of the handouts I've instructed the county clerk to hand out to you, you'll see that county administrators used to collect, analyze, and report employee recruitment and attrition data sometime after February 2017. But that raises a serious question. How has the county made clear, fiscally prudent decisions about which investments are worth making if it stopped collecting staffing and vacancy data? The public deserves answers. For years, Kern 360 has been a hope and a vision to transform the way the county works across departments, internally and externally, but so far it's fallen short, fallen behind, and over budget. This tool and resource to the taxpayer and county staff is valuable if it truly delivers a long-term future solution. But what are you doing to monitor data and make decisions today or now? And how many lives have been impacted or lost their loved ones because of this mismanagement? Department directors have decades of experience and use staff, vacancy, and attrition data to make choices about service levels.
Thank you, ma'am. You're gonna have to bring your comments to a close.
We're just asking for transparency. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Any other members of the public that would like to make comment? Okay, seeing none, we will bring it back to the board for any questions or comments. Okay. Not seeing any. Do we need a motion to receive and file? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Okay, please cast your votes.
Four yes, one absent. The motion is approved.
Okay, thank you. I think that takes us to the end of our agenda, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to July 14th at 9 a.m.
Motion adjourned.
Thank you. Without objection, we're adjourned.